The terrified whisper of 7-year-old Emma Rodriguez echoed through the cramped apartment as she clutched her baby brother close to her chest. "Don't hurt us," she pleaded as footsteps approached their hiding spot behind the worn sofa. What Emma didn't know was that those footsteps belonged to someone who would completely transform her understanding of what family really means. And what nobody could have predicted was that this moment of pure fear would lead to the most beautiful act of love and redemption anyone had ever witnessed. Emma had been taking care of 3-year-old Diego for 2 days now while their mother Maria worked double shifts at the hotel downtown. Their father had left when Diego was born and Maria struggled to make ends meet in their small apartment in East Phoenix. The electricity had been shut off that morning and Emma was scared of the dark shadows creeping across the walls as evening approached. When she heard the key turning in the lock, Emma's heart raced. Maria wasn't supposed to be home for hours and they rarely had visitors. She quickly scooped up Diego and hid behind the old couch that Maria had gotten from a thrift store, whispering prayers she had learned at the community center. The door opened and heavy footsteps entered their apartment. Emma could hear someone moving around, checking different rooms. Her small body trembled as she held Diego tighter, trying to keep him quiet. The footsteps grew closer and Emma squeezed her eyes shut, whispering her desperate plea for protection. "Don't hurt us, please don't hurt us." The footsteps stopped abruptly. There was complete silence for what felt like an eternity. Then Emma heard something she never expected. The sound of someone crying. Not the angry tears of someone dangerous, but the broken sobs of someone whose heart had just shattered into a million pieces. Benjamin Rodriguez had been searching for his children for 3 years. After a bitter divorce and custody battle, he had been denied visitation rights when his ex-wife Maria disappeared with Emma and Diego. Despite hiring private investigators and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, he had been unable to locate them. His business empire had grown to be worth over $50 million, but all the money in the world couldn't fill the emptiness he felt without his children. When his investigator finally tracked them down to this rundown apartment complex, Benjamin had rushed over immediately. He had envisioned a joyful reunion where he could sweep his children into his arms and tell them how much he had missed them. Nothing could have prepared him for hearing his little girl's terrified voice begging for mercy from her own father. As Benjamin knelt on the floor and wept, Emma slowly peered around the edge of the couch. She saw a man in an expensive suit with tears streaming down his face. There was something familiar about him but she couldn't quite place what it was. Diego started to whimper and the man's head shot up. When Benjamin saw Emma's face, his heart nearly stopped. She looked so much older than her 7 years, with worry lines that no child should ever have. Her clothes were too small and her hair needed cutting. But her eyes held the same kindness and intelligence he remembered from when she was 4 years old. "Papa," Emma whispered uncertainly as the memory came flooding back. Benjamin nodded through his tears and slowly extended his arms. Emma hesitated for a moment then ran to him, still carrying Diego. When Benjamin wrapped his arms around both of his children, he made a silent promise that they would never be afraid or hungry or alone ever again. But Benjamin's shock was just beginning. As he looked around the apartment, he saw empty food containers, past due bills scattered on the table, and evidence of a life much harder than anything he had ever imagined his children experiencing. The guilt overwhelmed him as he realized that while he had been building his business empire, his babies had been struggling to survive. Emma told him about taking care of Diego when Mama worked late, about making peanut butter sandwiches for dinner, and about being scared when the lights went out. She spoke with the matter-of-fact tone of a child who had been forced to grow up too quickly. Benjamin listened to every word, his heart breaking and reforming with each detail. When Maria came home from work that night, she found Benjamin sitting on the floor playing blocks with Diego while Emma showed him her drawings from school. The confrontation she expected never came. Instead, Benjamin looked up at her with gratitude in his eyes and thanked her for taking such good care of their children under impossible circumstances. What happened next shocked everyone who knew Benjamin Rodriguez. Instead of demanding custody or threatening legal action, he asked Maria what she needed to give their children the life they deserved. He listened as she explained her struggles, her fears, and her dreams for Emma and Diego's future. Benjamin could have used his wealth and legal team to take the children away from Maria. Instead, he chose a path that surprised everyone, including himself. He bought a beautiful house in a safe neighborhood with good schools and asked Maria if she would be willing to raise their children together as a family, not as husband and wife, but as parents united in their love for Emma and Diego. Maria was skeptical at first, wondering what catch might be hidden in such a generous offer. But as days turned into weeks, she watched Benjamin transform from the ambitious businessman she had divorced into a devoted father who put his children's needs above everything else. He restructured his business to work from home more often, learned to braid Emma's hair, and spent hours reading bedtime stories to Diego. The children blossomed in their new environment. Emma's worried expression gradually gave way to the carefree smile of a child who felt safe and loved. Diego, who had been shy and clingy, became adventurous and outgoing. They attended excellent schools, participated in activities they loved, and most importantly, they had both parents actively involved in their lives. Benjamin established college funds for both children and set up a foundation to help other single mothers who were struggling to make ends meet. He had learned that his wealth meant nothing if it wasn't used to help others, especially families who reminded him of his own children's situation. The transformation wasn't just in the children's lives. Benjamin discovered that the joy he found in being present for his family's daily moments far exceeded any satisfaction he had ever gotten from business success. Maria returned to school to become a nurse, something she had always dreamed of but never had the opportunity to pursue. 1 year later, on Emma's 8th birthday, she gave her father a drawing she had made at school. It showed their whole family standing in front of their house, with the words "Thank you Papa for saving us" written in her careful handwriting. Benjamin hung that drawing in his office where he could see it every day as a reminder of what truly mattered in life. The story of Benjamin's transformation spread throughout their community and beyond. Business associates were amazed to see how the formerly ruthless entrepreneur had become a champion for family values and social responsibility. His company implemented new policies supporting work-life balance and single-parent employees. Emma never forgot that terrifying moment when she thought a stranger was in their apartment, but she also remembered how her father's tears had shown her that even the strongest people can be broken by love and regret. That experience taught her about forgiveness, second chances, and the power of choosing compassion over anger. Years later, when Emma graduated as valedictorian of her high school class, she dedicated her speech to both of her parents. She spoke about how her mother's strength had kept their family together during the darkest times, and how her father's love had shown her that it's never too late to make things right. Benjamin often reflected on that day when he heard his daughter's frightened voice pleading for protection. He realized that her words had actually been a prayer that was answered in the most unexpected way possible. She had asked not to be hurt, and instead she had been surrounded by more love and security than she had ever known. The Rodriguez family story became a testament to the power of putting children's needs first, regardless of adult conflicts or pride. They proved that families can be healed and rebuilt when love and humility guide the decisions of parents who are willing to sacrifice their own egos for their children's well-being. Today, Emma is studying to become a social worker, inspired by her own experience and her desire to help other families in crisis. Diego is a confident teenager who excels in school and volunteers at the community center where Emma once learned her prayers. Maria works as a pediatric nurse and Benjamin continues to run his business while serving on the boards of several children's charities. Their story reminds us that sometimes our greatest failures can become our most beautiful redemptions when we choose love over pride and unity over division. It shows us that wealth without family is empty, but family supported by genuine love and commitment creates riches that no amount of money can buy. The next time you face a situation that seems impossible to fix, remember Emma's frightened whisper and her father's transformative response. Remember that it's never too late to choose love, that second chances can create miracles, and that the most powerful way to protect our children is to show them that family love can overcome any obstacle. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that love has the power to heal even the deepest wounds, please like, this video and share it with others who need to believe in second chances. Subscribe to Pure Kindness Stories to hear more inspiring tales of families who found their way back to each other through forgiveness and unconditional love. Together, we can spread the message that every child deserves to feel safe, loved, and protected by the adults in their lives.